constructing a confidence interval for population proportion with 99% confidence interval. So now we are changing the confidence level to 99%. In a survey of 3,110 US adults, 1,435 say that they have started paying bills online in the last year. We're going to build a confidence interval for them. So please pause the video and start constructing the confidence interval. Then we go over the step-by-step solution together. As you remember, these are the important steps that you need to take. These are the guidelines. The very first step is to identify the sample statistics, which are N and X. N is the sample size, and X is the number of successes in your survey. Find the point estimate for population proportion, which is P hat. P hat is equal to X divided by N. X, the number of successes, goes on the numerator, and sample size goes on the denominator. 1,435 divided by 3,110. If you do the division, you get the approximation of 0.461. And Q hat, the proportion of failure, is 1 minus P hat, which is approximately 0.539. So we have 46.1% said, yes, we start paying bills online. And 53.9% says, no, we haven't started doing that. You can do a little bit of algebra, multiply N, the sample size, and P hat, and make sure it is larger than or equals to 5. Why we are doing that? Because we want to make sure we can approximate this using normal distribution. When you're using normal distribution, you're allowed to use critical values from Z. You also can multiply N and Q hat to make sure it is always larger than or equals to 5. In the next step, you need to find the critical value. For 99% confidence level, the critical value is 2.575. So now that you have all the information, you can start working on the margin of error E. The margin of error has a formula. ZC times square root of P hat Q hat divided by N. This is the distance, the margin of error. In the next step, you can find the left and right endpoints for the population proportion. So P hat minus E and P hat plus E forms the lower bound and upper bound for population proportion. So let's take a look at the algebra. P hat plus minus the margin of error. P hat, which is calculated up here, is 0.461 plus minus. To find the margin of error, remember that you need to have a ZC. ZC is the critical value, 2.575, multiplied by square root of P hat times Q hat divided by the sample size. This number, this margin of error, is about 0.023. So adding and subtracting these two numbers give you the lower bound and the upper bound. The lower bound is 0.438 and the upper bound is 0.484. But what is the interpretation? With 99% confidence, we can say that the population proportion of US adults who say that they have started paying bills online in the past year is in between 43.8% and 48.4%. We are not exactly 100% confident because this is the sample. We got the information from a sample.